And because of me, he was harassed. I pride myself on getting you the facts. Like, I pride myself on getting this right. I don't ever want to f up like this again. I don't ever want to fail you like this again. I pride myself on being right. And I was not right this time. And Tony, if you're watching, we're going to make this right with you, no matter what we have to do.
I am not gonna put up with you fucking blaming me for people trolling you anymore.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
And I'm holding back every urge from saying just like, go fuck you, go fuck yourself.
Wow, Ethan just nuked Keem from orbit. He destroyed that man's whole career, exposed the blatant hypocrisy, the destruction of people's lives, but Ethan is still a piece of shit, and this is why.
The greatest moment comes when he asks Etika in a manic state, why doesn't he just jump off a cliff?
If you really think about it, then why live? Just jump off a cliff. Just jump off a cliff. If it's just a simulation, who cares?
Of course, hypothetical, but it is quite a coincidence when you consider that only 51 days later, that very same YouTuber jumped off a bridge to his death.
Welcome back to Crows of Judgment, and I've had to record this intro 3 times because I keep saying Crow of Judgment. I'm just not used to having Aura as part of this channel. I just love this man, and if you love him too, and you want to see more content from the both of us, all you have to do is hit the like and the subscribe, and because we have Aura as part of the channel, we have these beautiful graphics telling you to like and subscribe. Now, as many of you probably already are aware, Ethan dropped his takedown of Keemstar. It already has 2 million views as of being posted today. It's actually pretty thorough and incredible, but as I played in the clip earlier, I do still think Ethan is pretty much a degenerate. I don't like the guy. I don't like Keem. If the two of them want to fight with each other, I say, can't we just lock them in a cage, give them both a couple sharp sticks, and just see who survives? No, that can get me banned from YouTube. Okay, forget that. Anyways, Ethan did do a good job in his takedown of Keem. There's been a lot of things that Keemstar has done that have just been disgusting and awful, including the accusation of a YouTuber known as Tony, calling Tony a child enthusiast simply because he looked like another individual. He also exposed the doxing that Keemstar does, posting people's phone numbers online, posting their wives' phone numbers online, seeking out people's addresses and posting them online, accusing Just Destiny of being a child enthusiast as well. Yeah, Keemstar's got a lot of terrible, disgusting things he's done. In fact, I believe he also brought a young woman onto his drama alert and accused another content creator of doing the bad touch, even though she had not only no evidence, but was literally laughing throughout the interview. Keemstar is just really a really sick man. And I say that because he is willing to throw around baseless accusations, slander people, libel them, and then days later walks it back in probably the most self-serving way possible. When it comes to Tony, you know, he, as you saw in the clip, he does turn around and gives this warming, heartfelt apology to the man, but a year later is telling the guy to fuck off because, you know, Tony's life got ruined. People still send that man death threats to this day. And Tony, you know, even thanks H3H3 for doing that video exposing what Keemstar has done. And I think that's really important. So I gotta say props to Ethan for doing that. However, the two things I took major issues with in Ethan's video taking down Keemstar. The first is the targeting of G Fuel.
Keemstar's got a bottle of G Fuel somewhere in his house that's actually a Horcrux. How is G Fuel still sponsor this guy, by the way? G Fuel brought to you by false pedophilia accusations. Chug it, G Fuel.
Get it now at gfuel.com.
Go fuck.
I don't think it's ever appropriate to go after someone's advertisers. You did an amazing job in exposing the hypocrisy of this individual. You did an amazing job in showing people what a piece of shit Keemstar really is. And that's all good. However, to then try to continuously target his advertiser. Well, I think you went many steps too far. And, I'm sure people are going to say, well, Keemstar deserves it. He shouldn't be on this platform. Nobody should be paying him any revenue. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that statement. But if you want to destroy somebody, you don't need to take their income away from them. I'm never going to be okay for that. I'm never going to be down for that. I don't think that that's the right approach ever. And I think it largely diminished Ethan's argument. And, to be frank here, the only reason why Ethan is doing this video is because Keemstar lied about him too, right? So if that's what you're trying to do, expose this man as a liar, I think you achieved that. I think you achieved your goal of showing that Keemstar does not do any actual sourcing, that he does not actually look into any of the subjects that he covers, that he's willing to lie and slander people, or and I'm sure as Keem would say it, he doesn't lie, he just gets the information wrong, because, he doesn't actually do any fact checking, which is incredible for a guy who calls himself a news channel. But the second thing, and probably the one thing that really did piss me off, the confrontation between Keemstar and Etika. That whole thing is disgusting to watch. And I'm not saying that Ethan's wrong to show it. Obviously, it's important to show that Keemstar is A-okay picking on someone with an actual mental instability. That Keemstar is okay making somebody into a spectacle when they are clearly suffering from manic states, when they're delusional, that he was desperate to interview someone who had just been released from a mental institution, put him up on the platform, and call him weak, call him crazy, actually suggest, hey, why don't you just go jump off a building? Like, that sort of thing, it's hard to watch, but I think it's important that everybody sees the things that Keemstar has done.
When you ask Etika in a manic state, why doesn't he just jump off a cliff?
If you really think about it, then why live? Just jump off a cliff. Just jump off a cliff. If it's just a simulation, who cares?
Of course, hypothetical, but it is quite a coincidence when you consider that only 51 days later, that very same YouTuber jumped off a bridge to his death.
But to imply in any way that Keemstar is responsible for Etika's unfortunate death, I don't think that's right. As someone who's had to deal with this from close friends, as someone who's got into that mental state before, there are many factors. It is not just one inciting incident. There are many factors involved and at play there, and I think it's wholly irresponsible to try to imply that Keemstar is in any way, shape, or form responsible for the death of Etika. I think that Keemstar is probably a factor in it, but say, well, he did this interview with Etika, and then 51 days later, I was watching that and I just said no, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. But again, like I said earlier, I think Ethan's kind of a degenerate too, and so I don't think he's willing to play fair. I think he's absolutely willing to throw dirt in someone's eyes to win. And like I said, if these two men want to jump into a room with each other, I say we throw in some sharp sticks and let them have at it. Now, the targeting of advertisers, as I was informed today, Keemstar actually is no longer associated with G Fuel. Now, according to Keem, he says he quit, although I would say that timing is very suspect, given that you had this major expose with already 2 million plus people watching it, which largely targets G Fuel in many of the points, including with statements like this one right here.
Fully monetized. Keemstar cashed in big time on this whole ordeal. And I also, if I recall correctly, the interview brought to you by the SWAT murder was also sponsored by G Fuel. Use code KEEM for 10% off of your life expectancy.
So, I would say that was probably not really an amicable departure. I would say that's probably not really a really true statement by Keemstar. Although Keem is all about his own image, so I doubt that if he got dropped, he would admit it. I'm sure that he understands why he got dropped. I'm sure he understands he deserved to be dropped. But I also know that he's doing some sort of response to Ethan. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe I'll do a video if I find it interesting. But these are just my thoughts. I don't like either of these people. But I have to give Ethan some credit here because it's important that we call out bad behavior, and Keem's got a ton of it. You know, I think that whatever good Keem does on the platform, it's largely outweighed with the terrible actions he's taken towards people, taken towards innocent people, taken towards people that he just winds up despising for whatever reason. I think, you know, for a grown man, he really needs to grow the fuck up, get over his own ego, issue an actual apology to this Tony individual. You owe him far more than 20 grand, as I heard you shout at Etika. You offered him 20 grand on the spot. The dude's still getting death threats to this day. Because people think he is a child enthusiast. They're threatening to kill him and his family for being a child enthusiast. And respectfully, well, I can understand why you don't like the fact that your name is being brought into that situation. You're the dumbass who accused him of being it. It's out there. That is on you. That is on you, Keemstar. You're a piece of shit. Maybe stop making fucking accusations, accusing people of the bad touch, of being a child enthusiast. Maybe stop that when you have no concrete evidence, you fucking idiot. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. If Keemstar is a hero and Crow's just Crow's the real degenerate here. I'm okay with that. All comments are great for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you in the next one.